Hello Heliotic crew, Spectro Heliotic here, and welcome to yet another installment of the Spectro Sidequest, the filler show where we talk about all things random. Today I wanted to talk about an anime that I watched back in my youth, and looking back at it, it has definitely not aged well, and I would definitely consider it to be an anime that would be, in my eyes, a complete wasted potential of an anime that had an amazing plot, but just squandered it to the point where I honestly have no clue how it even got there to begin with, let alone how it even got created in terms of its execution. And today we're going to be talking about the anime Mirai Nikki, aka Future Diary. Now, Future Diary was definitely a popular anime in its for its time, and to this day it still has a bit of an iconography within the anime community, simply because of the character Yuno Gasai. Now, for those who haven't seen the anime, let alone have heard of the anime before, Future Diary is essentially a story in which 12 contestants are competing themselves to the death in order to become the new god of their universe. And in order to do so, each contestant has their own device known as a future diary, in which it allows them to predict the future in a very unique way. So it allows them to either survive from an attack that will potentially kill them, or predict a certain event unrelated to the battle royale. So you got a really good plot here. So what went wrong? Now, in my opinion, what really went wrong is definitely the development and execution of our main characters. Yuno Gasai is a bit of a crazy person, despite the fact that that's literally what her character is. My only issue is the fact that I felt like we really didn't grow with that character. She was just insane for the sake of being insane. And even though it's later revealed that she's more than she's leading off to, because again, I'm not gonna really spoil the anime in this video, but all I gotta say is that in terms of how the big reveal is made, I really felt like there was a lot that they could have done a really better job with that character. And I know I'm probably not gonna make sense here because I'm basically just improvising myself, but that's one of the main issues that I have with Yuno Gasai. She was just crazy, and that was it. It reminded me of Harley Quinn in the really terrible 2006 Suicide Squad movie, because all she did was basically just be there for 1, fan service, and 2, just being crazy. Literally, that was her entire character throughout the entirety of the story. And don't get me started on freaking Yuki, the main protagonist. One of my biggest issues is the fact that he's not only one of the weakest characters in the entire story, both physically, mentally, and in terms of story, but I don't even understand how a character like Yuki would be able to sort of adjust into this world in which okay, let me explain. Given the fact that he's our main protagonist, you think that he would have some unique development throughout the story. Nope, that's completely thrown out the window. Just like Yuno Gasai, he remains the same character throughout the entirety of the story, up until the final, episode of Future Diary. My issue with the character is the fact that literally he's a coward throughout the entirety of the story, which I get it. He's a kid thrown into a battle royale situation where everyone's gonna fight each other to the death. I completely get it. But my issue is the fact that I think it would have been interesting to see him develop into this hardened, shaped character, in the middle of the story. There was a moment, I'm not gonna spoil, but there is a moment in Future Diary where you believe that he finally becomes the character that we all expected him to become. He grows into this character who is sort of hard-edged and confident, and all of that is just thrown away because it was all just a ruse. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And he just goes back to being the basic bitch character that he is from the very first episode. And it's not only that, his motivations are also pretty, loose-ended and very inconsistent. There are times where he has to trust a certain character and that character betrays them, and in the following episode, let alone in the same episode, he decides to just become friends with them again and trust them like it hasn't worked before. If it didn't work the first time, why do you think it's gonna work the next time? Seriously, do not get me started with the relationship between him and his father. Good God, I was so angry about that relationship. And then people would say that, well, Shinji from Evangelion is a character that's similar to Yuki. No. Do not I honestly do not understand why people try to compare Yuki to freaking Shinji from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Those two characters, despite having their moments and like having similar character traits, they do not have the same like story arcs, let alone the same type of character that gets developed for each of them. Because unlike Yuki, Shinji is a character who actually grows into his world. Like, sure, he has his moments where he tries to cower and run away, but I swear it almost feels like we watched like two completely different anime. Because literally throughout the entirety of Neon Genesis Evangelion, like, you do see moments in which Shinji does like use the Eva and go into battle, and there are really awesome moments between that. And sure, he does cower and try to run away, but sometimes that comes off in a way where it is in character. You completely understand why he wants to run away, especially in certain moments in which, well, it becomes dire for the character, it becomes dire for the entire story. Unlike Yuki's character, in which whenever the inconsistencies come into play, it just not only becomes inconsistent for the character, but also inconsistent for the narrative of the story, and it just throws off the audience. And then there were a lot of moments in which I really felt like they could have definitely reworked some story elements, especially, I believe the character of, that one girl who gets the eye patch, who uses a lot of bombs and stuff. There's when we first get introduced to her, she's literally trying to threaten to blow up Yuki and Yuno's entire school, and she succeeds in like killing her classmates. And for some apparent reason, throughout the rest of the story, we're supposed to sympathize with her, despite the fact that we have the knowledge that 1, she's a terrorist, 2, she's a child killer, and 3, like, did no one really think that having all those like character elements would lead up to a character who ends up becoming some sort of a sympathetic character? It makes no freaking sense. I don't get it. The entirety of the anime is trying to make you sort of sympathize with this character despite all the awful things that she's done. And even though she had a terrible past that's like explained through like short flashbacks, it still doesn't justify the fact that she's a literal terrorist. Now, what are some things that I do like about Future Diary? Well, for one thing, and I think that's sort of obvious, is the first opening of the anime. It's catchy, it's really iconic, and it really stands out from a lot of anime, and has its own, it's really, again, it's just amazingly made. Another thing that I do like, and this is just sort of a minor personal thing, but I really like the characters Marco and I really love those two characters because they're sort of like the complete opposite of Yuno and Yuki, in a way where it's like you really do. In my honest opinion, I really felt like I really rooted for those characters in a way, even though they had their own thing going on. There was a part of me that really rooted for them and was really like, I really like their character story. I really like their background, and I really like their relationship together, their dynamic. They're really cool. I really like them, and I wish we really got to see more of them. That's one of my only complaints about those two characters, but overall, I really liked Marco and I also like Akise too, even though I really felt like he was, looking back, a sort of like a stand-in for Kohaku. Like, I think that's sort of where a lot of people sort of draw the comparisons between Shinji and Yuki. In my opinion, he's his own complete character, and I really liked the character. I really liked sort of the things that he's done, and I love the fact that he does prove himself to be like some sort of like the world's greatest detective in a way, and he does manage to sort of change the course of the anime story. So I really do appreciate how that character was handled. But coming back to my complaints, I think I have yet one more complaint that I have about the anime, and I believe it has to be the way it ended. I felt like it was just, I don't know. There was just something about it that not only felt rushed, but also felt incomplete. Like, there are a lot of moments where whenever I finish like a series and it makes me feel empty. Well, for Future Diary, it not only made me feel empty, but I felt empty simply because of the fact that it didn't fill me up. It didn't really make me feel like I was completely satisfied with it. Which is one of the reasons why, for some apparent reason, they made yet another ending in which it was distributed as an OVA. So we basically see a story in which we get to see what that good ending transpired. And even though that ending was good, I still, for some apparent reason, felt empty. Like, that was the best that they could do? Like, really? It almost felt anticlimactic and almost felt like nothing was really well deserved, despite the fact that it was some sort of a bittersweet yet good ending. I don't understand. I can't explain why, but that's sort of my complaint about the ending of the anime. So with that being said, I think I would give like Future Diary a 5 out of 10, maybe a 6 out of 10 in terms of its quality and direction. And if you enjoyed Future Diary on a personal note, that's okay, because literally everyone has their own opinion, and my opinion and review of this anime does not doctrinate the anime in itself. If you want to see more Spectro Sidequest videos, then hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell and the like button as well, and comment down below on what you guys think about this anime, and also give me ideas on what topics I should discuss in future videos. This has been Spectro Heliotic signing out.